My son's coach locked doors for special training sessions, so I made sure no parent ever left him alone again. Coach Brennan had this thing he did with every boy. First, he'd tell them they were naturals after their first good match. Then he'd say they could win state if they did extra work with him. Next thing you knew, he'd have them training alone in the back rooms instead of the main gym. My son Caleb was 14 and loved wrestling when Coach Brennan noticed him. After Caleb pinned a senior, Coach called him a once-in-a-decade talent. Within days, he was talking about state championships through special training that started in the main gym. By week 3, they'd moved to the old weight room because apparently the mirrors were better. Then it was the equipment closet for visualization exercises behind locked doors. I worked night shifts and trusted him completely. Tommy Garrison quit suddenly after 3 months of private sessions with Coach. His mom asked questions, but Coach said some boys couldn't handle the pressure. When the Garrisons got a lawyer, Coach's wrestling alumni paid for his defense. Kevin Park's parents found him cutting himself and filed a complaint. The school board blamed the parents and said Coach was just pushing boundaries. When the Parks tried spreading the word, the boosters shut them down fast. Every time something happened, Coach had excuses ready and our town believed him. He'd cry about being misunderstood while boys kept quitting the sport they loved. He had 15 years of champions protecting him and a system that cared more about winning. The pattern was right there, but parents wanted trophies more than truth. That Tuesday, Caleb wouldn't get in my car after practice. He sat there shaking on the curb until he finally told me about the backroom sessions. I took him straight to the hospital where I worked and had everything documented. The principal said I was paranoid from my divorce and that Caleb didn't understand training techniques. The detective spent more time investigating me than Coach, while the prosecutor dropped everything after 2 weeks. The town picked their championship coach over my kid. 3 months later, Coach got Mentor of the Year while we sat banned in the parking lot. That night, I found Caleb passed out with empty pill bottles everywhere. The hospital saved him, but he didn't talk for days. Then Patricia showed up with proof of 2 other boys who tried to kill themselves after nobody believed them. She'd been called crazy for years, but kept collecting evidence. A cold determination filled the space where my panic used to be. I had to take away what he needed most, which was getting boys alone. I got a job doing evening janitor shifts at the school and said I needed money for Caleb's therapy. The old janitor who was retiring was pissed about staying quiet all those years. He made sure I got keys to every room, including Coach's office. I watched practice schedules and figured out which boys stayed for solo sessions. Patricia hooked me up with 3 other moms whose sons had randomly given up wrestling. We met secretly and compared the exact same patterns down to the words he used. She showed me wrestling mom Facebook groups that went across 3 states sharing information. We couldn't prove old crimes, but we could wreck his power by taking away his access. His whole identity was about making champions through secret methods behind closed doors. Without getting kids alone, he'd be nothing. My plan was to turn every parent into a guard dog, using their natural instinct to protect their kids. I started mentioning insurance stuff while emptying trash cans during practices. I'd casually ask parents if their coverage handled unsupervised training situations. Moms started showing up during one-on-one sessions within 2 weeks. Coach tried his smooth talking about performance anxiety and trade secrets, but parents kept pushing. When they wouldn't leave the gym, his nice guy act fell apart. He yelled at kids for tiny mistakes and threw stuff when people asked about the locked doors. The anonymous letters went to every wrestling family with abuse statistics and warning signs. They said parents should watch their kids during all sports activities. The lawyer parents started digging into supervision policies and liability coverage. I ran into worried moms at the grocery store and let them share what they'd noticed. 3 wrestlers switched schools within a month as parents compared notes about weird patterns. Coach tried fixing things by calling concerned parents crazy and saying they were ruining their sons' futures. His loyal parents fought back and accused us of being jealous about their kids winning, but there were too many worried voices drowning them out. The assistant coach quit out of nowhere and told people he couldn't watch anymore. 8 more wrestlers left before the season when parents made a committee demanding open practices. The boosters pulled their money and suddenly there weren't enough kids to have a team. Coach caught me after practice when he figured out I was behind the parent uprising. He said he'd just coached somewhere else, but I reminded him our network went across state lines. His face went white when I told him the Facebook groups were already sharing his name everywhere. He works at a sporting goods store now while our network's warnings follow him to every job. No school will hire him after parents call with safety concerns. Every practice has open doors and 2 adults watching always. Caleb talks at parent meetings about spotting grooming patterns. He finally sleeps without bad dreams.